to exploit the fear, sometimes legitimate fear because of ignorance about Islam, to just score some political points, instead of showing leadership by being balanced and play a moderate role in maybe being balanced in approaching this challenge that we all face. He's trying just to stoke anti-Muslim sentiment for political reasons. He has been making, especially Peter King, assertions that are false from a very responsible position. So this is a green signal for many people to believe the distortions, the stereotypes that they have.
But how come he's winning the PR war and you're not?
There are many well-funded organizations. We're talking about millions of dollars. Just a couple of years ago, about $17 million were put in one campaign to send DVDs to scare the public and voters about Islam and Muslims. So it is a PR battle. We're not losing it, I think, because time is on our side.
Do you think the community is doing enough?
The community can do better, and that's why we need those who care about the image of Islam and the relationship between Muslims and people of other faith in the society to put their resources where they should belong and prioritize their commitments, their issues, their concerns. Because if this challenge left unchallenged in an effective way, and if we just ignore it, it's not going to go away.
So very briefly, if you don't mind, how does he get away with lumping an entire religion together, investigating an entire religion?
It's a free speech. He can say it. The question is, what about the other leaders in the Republican Party, in GOP? Why are they allowing someone to misrepresent their issues? Are they standing for this? Do they support him? They have to show leadership, and this is a historic time. Also, Democrats, they should not just say that this is our challenger, he's our opponent. They have also to show leadership. Some of them have spoken, but we need more leaders on the religious and political spheres to show leadership and push back against fear-mongering against Muslims. And we all remember, the Muslim community is not the first or maybe the last community to suffer discrimination and stigmatization at the hands of those who see it differently and they do not believe that we are equals to them.
We'd like to think it's a thing of the past, but clearly not. Nihad Awad, thanks very much. Very interesting. Well, the governor of the U.S. state of Illinois has abolished the death penalty. Governor Pat Quinn also reduced the death sentences of all 15 prisoners on death row. Those sentences have been changed to life in prison. Illinois becomes the 16th state in the U.S. to outlaw the execution of convicted criminals. The suspect in January's mass shooting in Tucson, Arizona, has pleaded not guilty to dozens of new federal charges against him. Jared Loughner is accused of the attempted assassination of a U.S. congresswoman and the murder of a federal judge, among other charges. The shooting left 6 people dead and 13 wounded. The U.S. government has charged 35 alleged members of a Mexican drug gang on counts ranging from murder to money laundering. Those charged include 10 people suspected of killing a U.S. consulate officer and her husband. The 2 were shot dead in Ciudad Juarez last March in an attack blamed on the Barrio Azteca gang. 7 of the 10 murder suspects are in Mexican custody, and the U.S. is seeking their extradition. Now, the ancient practice of yoga has become a multi-billion-dollar exercise industry in the United States. Yoga has its roots in Hinduism, and some Hindus in the U.S. state of California say they are unhappy with the way American popular culture has commercialized aspects of their religion and traditions. Rob Reynolds has more.
As you breathe into the back of the body.
The U.S. is in a yoga boom, with about 16 million Americans doing yoga, spending $6 billion a year on lessons, books, and other items. Yoga has become as American as pizza or sushi.
Breathe with expanded awareness.
Many yoga classes feature some quasi-spiritual talk.
We're seeing others in their essence is that which is pulsating as goodness itself.
Others, like Kimberly Fowler's studio in Los Angeles, present yoga simply as good exercise.
If you've never done yoga and you walk into a class and the teacher's talking in Sanskrit and you're like, what are they saying?
But what is often overlooked amid all the stretching, twisting, and twirling is that yoga is a religious ritual, a Hindu ritual. At a temple near San Francisco, a Hindu priest says prayers before an altar. In another corner, a family prays for safe childbirth. There are about 2 million Hindus living in the United States, and many of them are not comfortable with the way their sacred traditions have been appropriated by American popular culture.
We want credit where it is due.
Swaminathan Venkatraman is a board member of the Hindu American Foundation.
Our major concern is that the roots of the practice need to be acknowledged. And we believe in today's modern yoga movement in the US, there is sometimes even a conscious effort to de-link yoga from Hinduism.
And be a force that is uplifting.
While Hindu ideas like karma, guru, and avatar are widely accepted, Hinduism itself is often disrespected.
Sometimes we have, the goddess Lakshmi sitting on Burger King ad, sitting on a burger. We've seen pictures of Ganesh plastered on toilet seats. They think it's cute.
Many faithful Hindus were offended by this news magazine cover depicting President Barack Obama in the pose of the god Shiva performing the cosmic dance. The Hindu American Foundation is pressuring the news media and school book publishers to change their depictions of Hinduism. Someday, they hope, Americans will learn that yoga means more than just a way of looking good in a pair of jeans.
Now stretch the thighs back.
Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Berkeley, California.
Well, that's all for now. From Washington, back to you, Sammy, in Doha.
Thanks so much, Jane. Well, the UK government has announced it'll ban the display of cigarettes and other tobacco products in shops across England. And ministers are looking at other strategies to help the country kick its smoking habit. Rory Challens reports now from London.
All over Europe, smokers are under attack. There are bans on puffing in public from Spain to Britain to Greece and beyond. And now governments are legislating on how tobacco products are sold. Cigarette displays like this will soon disappear in England. Big stores will have to get rid of theirs by April 2012, and small stores, well, they'll have to have theirs out of sight by April 2015. And then there's this, plain packaging for cigarettes. Ministers are going to start a public consultation on whether the UK is going to be the first European country to introduce it. The point of all this is to make the habit less appealing for young people and reduce the massive health costs of caring for diseased smokers.
Most people start smoking very early. The average age in the UK is 13 or 14. And of course, that's not the sort of age you're doing things, sensibly. You're doing it because of peer pressure and the rest of it. The tragedy is that they're then going on for years and years and finding it very difficult to stop.
Scotland and Northern Ireland are planning similar legislation, but sellers say there's little evidence that putting the cigarettes out of sight helps.
Ireland have had a display ban now for 18 months and they've actually seen youth smoking increase, and the retailers are losing 20% of their sales overnight when it was introduced.
But the tide is certainly turning against the European smoker. For one reason or another, they could be a dying breed. Rory Challens, Al Jazeera, London.
Well, still ahead in the news hour.
Our first views of Space Shuttle Discovery as it bears down on the Kennedy Space Center. The two air data probes.
Space Shuttle Discovery ends its 39th and final mission.